Hey guys, it's Mike with the King Arthur Legends Rise video. We're on the free-to-play day 4 of the new player experience account. Kind of going through is also a kind of a beginner's guide. I think will be helpful for players starting the game, where they can kind of see where successes are and what I'm falling down doing and all that good stuff as well. We're farming in Weisgelag right now, just getting some materials so we can get back to the forge and hopefully make some more vigor sets. We're going to try to get everybody into gear that makes sense for them today. So we're going to try to forge what we need to get HP percent stats on Nika, recovery on the ring, or attack speed, whichever one comes first. Getting attack speed on Morgan's ring and start to build her with a little more speed, and just kind of starting to build people with intent and getting through it. So that's what the plan is for today. We also got some summons as the daily login. I think we got 20 of those, plus we've made progress and gotten a couple things along the way. So we'll see what we can add to the account today and see how far we can press along. So far, the experience, I think, has been really good. Ultimately, I think it's actually, I've been able to play way more than I should and way more than I have time for. So I think for an average player starting the game, they're basically going to be able to play as much as they want for the first week. I think by the time you level up and do everything, you go through your stamina as quickly as when I started, which is super nice. I do recall when I started, it was like, wow, I got nothing to do and I really want to keep playing, and so it was kind of sad. But the other thing with that is, because you always have stamina, you almost never have to go into adventure mode. So I got way deeper into the game before I even stepped foot in adventure mode, which was kind of interesting as well. But it did take me, I'd say, probably a good 5 or 6 hours straight to get through all of my stamina from when I started the game to when I was accruing stamina. Now, that being said, I think you could strategically make that less if you didn't collect stamina unnecessarily, such as in events and stuff of that nature. You could push it back to the next day or whatever the case is. But for those first few days, you're probably going to sleep with full stamina, just because it's hard to use it all. And all your teams are kind of slow, so everything takes a little bit longer. But ultimately, from a new player experience, I think it works out really well, because you want those new players to be able to play your game and really get a feel for it. And then there's that kind of sunken cost fallacy or sunken time fallacy, where once you've played a game for 2, 3, 4 hours, you don't want to walk away from that time. So you're kind of more interested in spending a little more time in the game. You're like, okay, I want to see about doing this, or I want to see about doing that. And with every passing minute you put in the game, that's more time going into the game, and less likely you're going to walk away from it. So I think that is a good thing overall for King Arthur. The new player experience is going to be pretty positive from what I've seen so far. The other thing that I find refreshing is, in this game, we're on day 4. I literally just logged in for day 4. I have made a lot of progress on the account. We've moved through several dungeons. We're farming at decent levels. We have, I think, 7 6-star characters already. We've got decent gear sets, 3 to 4-star gear on most of our players. So I think that level of progress, it feels like you're moving pretty quickly. I mean, compared to a lot of other games where you can spend an entire week trying to 6-star a single character, it can be very overwhelming, depending on the resources you get along the way. If you're not lucky enough to start in those games with certain promotions going or whatever, it just takes forever to do anything. The difference is those games typically have a lot more characters, so it's kind of, you're on two ends of a spectrum. On the King Arthur side, there's not very many characters. You can max them all out quickly. So you really kind of get to a point in the game where you kind of run out of stuff to do pretty soon. Or you have a game where there's a bunch of characters and it takes forever to get them. It takes forever to level them up, and there's no hope that you ever are going to get every character in the game. So it's kind of, pick your poison. But I do like the idea that you come into King Arthur, it's not a matter of, oh, will I ever get a Merlin? It's, what am I going to do with my Merlin when I get him? How am I going to build my Merlin? It's just a different feel. It's just a matter of when you get them. Now, I will say there's an excitement when you first pull a character that dwindles every time thereafter. Like chivalries are awesome and they do a great job, but the same excitement of when you pull the character for the first time, it just isn't the same. So 11 times to pull a character to gain chivalries and stuff like that, it just kind of inch by inch it becomes less exciting. And I've noticed that specifically moving from my main account to the free-to-play here. When I pulled my first Nika and my first Brennan, I was really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, we got Nika on the account, you know? And I haven't felt that same excitement level on my main account in a while. So it was just kind of one of those things I didn't really notice until I came back to it and got a fresh character. That being said, I still get excited about Morgan chivalries and chivalries on the different characters because they do help out the account a lot. But it doesn't have that same feel. So we went through our day 4 chores as far as the new player event, get all these goodies plus these 20 summons on the account. We got 50 red orbs. They are really setting you up for success early on. That's basically taking a legendary character straight to level 6. Because that's usually the currency, or that's usually the thing that's holding you back, is those mythic orbs. So that's going to be a pretty big win there. Let's get over into Lake Avalon, see if we can get a little bit lucky. I think on the Relo, we're getting close. We haven't quite got a 10-pack here. We got 9 across the board. We got 16 of these plus a freebie. Let's go ahead and get that freebie on the account. Here we're still looking for some rares. We did pick up an Anguish. I think we might take Anguish to 6-star. And start working through the Gorgos team. Anguish is going to be a good fit for Gorgos right now because he is positive affinity, and getting more dots on Gorgos early is going to really limit the amount of time that fight takes, which means it's going to limit the amount of damage we take. So potentially we could be getting into Gorgos 7, maybe even beyond, if we had a good setup Anguish. So we're going to try to get him going on the account today as well. All right, in the special summons here, we got 26 to pity. We have 33 to pull. So we're going to go ahead and get a new legendary on the account today, or a chivalry on Morgan. I think she's the only duplicate in there. Oh, hey, we're not even going to pity. That's awesome. So let's see. I would love to see that Caliber and Arthur come in. 3 rares also is huge. Let's see. It is. We got the Caliber and Arthur. That is incredible. So now we can focus all of our attention here as our damage dealer. He does great AoE damage and single target damage. So he's kind of combining Kay and Tristan into one character. The other thing with him is if you want to run 2 damage dealers, he becomes effective in that space too. Also got another Turin there and another Frederick and Kieran, so that's not too bad. Let's go ahead and pull the additional 20 and see if we happen to get lucky, not having to go to pity. We've actually been really fortunate on this account. We've had some really solid pulls. Might be worthwhile actually to take Caliber and Arthur off the wish list. There's a Bodwin. We could work on him for Cromcroc. But I do think the first few chivalries for Arthur are pretty strong. So hey, we're gonna get another legendary on the account, and we got another Morgan. That is awesome. So I think we'll take a peek at her chivalries and see if it's time to pull her off the wish list. And then I didn't even notice, but we also got 5 rares in that pull, which is incredible. We got Kay over here on chivalry level 5 already. Morgan's going to chivalry level 3. None of these are new, but they're all on the account. So it's potential chivalries as well as potential summons. Now for this account, the way I'm going to move forward is any character I'm not building, after I have 1 copy of them, I don't think it'll let you sell your only copy. But you can go in here and you can exchange the extras into tokens. Then the tokens you can go back and then purchase characters or whatever the case is. So if you want to get a specific character on your account, my guess is you can go through here and you can sell off all the extras you don't want and get those heroes a lot faster than trying to build chivalries on all these guys, which is what I did. Now, to be fair, I think that that's kind of the right move if you're planning on playing the game for a long time. I'm trying to max an account in 7 days, and there's going to be characters that I just don't get to within 7 days, such as Sarah. She's a great character. Probably won't build her within 7 days. She can help you optimize your Yscalag team, but outside of that, like, I have Nika as a healer, and she's going to do a better job healing than Sarah will, and there's too much overlap there for me to invest resources in her in the first 7 days. Long term, though, I probably would build her as a specialist for Yscalag potentially. But those are absolutely huge pulls. We got another chivalry on On Morgan here, Squall of Thorn skill enhancement changes activation condition to when attacking. Okay, so right now this only happens when she uses skill 1, which she never does because we're spamming her A2. So now it's going to move to when attacking. So regardless of what skill she's using, we're going to get that defense decrease and damage taken increase. So that's going to be a major win for her. So let's take a peek at what Chivalry level 4 brings and see if it's worth keeping her on the wish list. So on the 4th Chivalry, we're going to be, if the target is inflicted with abnormal status, 100% chance to bring the attack gauge down by 10%. So it is a small attack gauge manipulation, but when you look at the abnormal statuses, you're talking stuns, you're talking freezes, steel turns, oblivion. That's kind of specific to Lot. I believe there's a couple characters doing brainwash. So this, I'd say this is good, but probably not super effective. So at this point, I think it'd probably be more important. Oh, the taunt with Brennan. I think at this point, it'd probably be more important to get a new character on the account than to push her chivalries further. So I am going to pull her off the wish list. If we look at Caliber and Arthur, we get the additional skill effect where he's going to get hits dealt, crit damage increase, and hit accuracy. So we are going to keep him on the wish list and start to stack up some of his chivalries. So we'll jump back over into Lake Avalon. Before I forget, we're going to go ahead and take Morgan off the wish list. You probably could keep her on until she hits Chivalry level 5 where she gets that extra 20 speed. That would not be a bad idea, but it's also, there's a lot of good characters in the game that you want to get on your account. So we're going to grab Anya here and start to work towards that counter strike. I think would be the right move. Could also look to get a Guinevere just so we could get through Cromcroc a little easier. Bedivere absolutely smacks, but with Caliber and Arthur, there's too much overlap there for me to really put resources into both of them. You do have affinity differences, but there's not going to be a significant amount of places where Caliber and Arthur does not function and Bedivere does. So for now, in the first 7 days, we're going to focus on Caliber and Arthur, and I think that'll probably get us dialed in for the wish list. And with our current resources, we're going to go ahead and take Caliber and Arthur straight to 6 stars and get him outfitted with some gear. He's probably the first character I'm going to build without a vigor set. We're going to put him in attack set and damage if I have it. But ideally for him, we're just trying to get as much damage out of him as possible, and that's going to be a pretty big effect as we kind of get into some of these deeper dungeons where we need to do single target or multi-target damage. He's going to be our workhorse to get all that damage done. So we are short on these guys to get him to 6 stars, so we're going to go ahead and source these out. On the hard mode, I haven't 3-starred any of these, and I don't know that I've improved my team enough to 3-star, so we're actually going to go into the main story mode. And we got a delay going on. There we go. And we can actually run these 5 times. So I'm going to go ahead and write to 10 chapter 6. We're going to probably have to run this, I think, twice to get, or actually, I think we need, what, 30 something? So we might need to run this 3 or 4 times. So we're going to go ahead and get that going, get that on the account, and get him to 6 stars. One thing I really like about King Arthur is when you want to go and farm a specific thing, there's a level to farm that thing. Like, there's a little bit of variation here and there. When you look at those upgrade stones, there's several of those upgrade stones to upgrade different characters depending on what they're going on. So you got blue there. We were farming here for the gold ones, and then there's red ones as well somewhere. Where are they at? There they are. So when you need a specific thing, you're not wasting a bunch of stamina trying to get it, and then like you're looking for blue and all you're getting are the orange ones here, you know? And so it's kind of nice that you can go to a specific place, farm a specific thing. It doesn't take forever. I think the layout of the grind is much more rewarding. Like you feel like, oh, I'm gonna go get this thing and I'm just gonna get that done, as opposed to, well, I'll go blow 200 stamina and hopefully I get some of the things that I need, which I personally find a little better. I do appreciate a good grind, but I also like to feel like I'm making progress on my account in the areas I want to make progress and not just stacking up things I don't need. But we went ahead, we got those dialed in on the account there, so we can go ahead and bring him up. We could probably get pretty close to bringing Anguish up as well, so we might be able to bring both of them up today. And then from there, we're going to see about outfitting him with some gear and seeing what we can do. Alright, so this is where we're at. We do have a full attack set that we could use on Arthur that's pretty effective. So we have 4 stars on everywhere except for the pendant, and it's a flat stat attack. We got to pull it from K. But you do want his attack to be high so he can do some damage. Got him in crit rate, which early build is going to be really effective. Later on when you get substats where your crit rate's pretty high, you might want to move this into crit damage. And then here we have him in attack percent with crit rate, which is actually a pretty good ring for him as well. So we got a good build going on so far. I only have one piece of damage gear on the account. So I can go into the forge and I can forge any of the pieces, but if I'm trying to get a specific main stat over here, it's going to be really hard to do. It's going to require a lot of luck. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to forge a pair of boots, and whether it's 3 or 4 star, that'll just be what he uses, because we're going to complete that damage set, which is going to be the best thing for him. Then we're going to max out all these pieces of gear, and that's going to be his build for a little while. And then we head over into the forge here. We're going to grab the boots. We're going to look for a damage set. Specifically, we want 3 and 4 star. If you use these guys, I forget which one does which. One of them gives you a better chance of getting legendary, and one of them gives you a better chance of getting the higher star rating. So I typically save these for your 5 and 6 star gear to try to get 6 star legendary gear. So that's just what those guys do. And we have quite a few resources on the account, but the nice thing here is we only need 1 pair of boots, and from there we'll have his build completed, and we don't have to worry about trying to get more. So it's a little unfortunate we're on 3 stars here. And as far as the substats go, we can change these to be more effective for him. So on this piece here, we got a 2 roll in effect accuracy. If you stop right here, don't take it to 9 because it'll bring a 3rd stat in here. If you go over to do change stats, you're switching between these 2 are the only ones that can change. So you can kind of go through and try to get like crit rate, crit damage here would be awesome. Hit accuracy wouldn't be bad. Effect accuracy for Caliburn Arthur's probably not super effective. So it's just a matter of getting extra damage on him is what we want. We're getting really bad RNG right now where it's only changing this stat right here. Again, so eventually it'll have to change this one because it's 50-50. So if this rolled into a crit rate or attack percentage, that'd be amazing. That's HP. That's kind of not what we want. We want something there. Attack speed is actually pretty good. We might actually hold on to that just so he gets to go a little more frequently. Plus we got that damage, and we're trying to kind of hold on to those. On those stat changes, I would almost exclusively use those for Morgan until you get her attack speed like pretty close to 200. And then from there, you could kind of start moving it around to other places, but you really want her running fast. So after we get in here, got all his pieces maxed out, we're getting quite a bit of stats from the attack set and the damage set. So you got your crit damage up at 47%, which is, I mean, for this time of the game is not too bad. Crit rate's at 35%. And then we have his attack up at 1587, and that will get better as we start to max him out. But this is going to be a pretty effective build for him that is going to allow us to do some damage in some of these later dungeons. So I did awaken my Morgan, got a spot for the belt there. I don't have any belts to put on her, but an effect accuracy belt would be huge for her to land that turn meter manipulation as well as those debuffs. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start looking at her build. So this side here, we don't have any attack speed on it at all. It is a 3-star piece of gear, so even if we were to get attack speed right here, it probably would be a pretty low amount, like maybe 5 or 6 maybe. Whereas if we got her into a 4-star, that could be 8 to 10. So ideally we could get her into 4-star gear over here with 2 rolls of attack speed on each one. So we're just going to kind of start to move that direction. So yeah, we have 4-star here with attack speed. So probably not the highest because you can get a range in here of rolls. So I would imagine somewhere between 7 and 10, 6 to 10 is probably the range. So that was probably pretty unfortunate, but we do have a 4-star piece with 2 rolls in attack speed, so we're going to call her boots good. If we go up here and actually select the 2 pieces we want to use on her, which is going to be vigor and accuracy, and then we select the pieces, we can try to see if there's effect accuracy, if we could get 2 rolls in the same category, that would be a great piece for her. It still could be, and it would be really easy to enhance this piece to work for her. Plus it's already 4 stars and it has effect accuracy as a substat. So we're going to go ahead and change the stats. Either one of these hit attack speed and we are ready to go. The RNG here is honestly a little bit painful. I like the fact that you can change stats, but like, I mean, I've gone through 50 of these trying to land a specific thing on a rare where it's basically 50-50. How many, like this is seven times we've gone through it. We haven't even got either one of them to be attack speed. And obviously I have 19 of these, so if I'm trying to do her entire build, I've got 6 pieces of gear plus her keepsakes, which is 9, which I don't have any keepsakes yet. But that's a lot of rolls I'm getting where I just want either one of these to hit attack speed. Either one, it doesn't even matter. But there we go. So we got 5 attack speed right there. We have flat stat defense, pretty unfortunate. But I don't want to go again. A, I don't have a lot of them. And B, I don't want to roll out of attack speed trying to get some substat that's going to be a little better for her. And we're going to equip that piece, and that's going to bring her attack speed up by 5. So moving over to her chest plate here, we got Rosier. It's got a 2 roll with some speed on it. But honestly, the RNG trying to get that going is going to be pretty rough. Nika also has a 2 roll, but she is hit accuracy. Ugh, that'd actually be better for like a Arthur or a K or somebody like that. So we're going to go ahead and make a 4-star chest plate for Morgan. So we come over into the forge here. We go to the chest plate. We go to Vigor, and we're going to go ahead and make one, hopefully 4-star. And here I'm going until we basically get a 4-star piece, and right away out of the gate we got a legendary 4-star piece, which is awesome. It has effect accuracy on it, crit rate, and crit damage. For our rolls, this is going to be a little bit tough. Sometimes when you're trying to build speed, it's actually easier with a rare piece, and I'll show you why. If we go in here, we put that piece onto Morgan, we're going to have a 33% chance of getting the roll where we want it instead of a 50-50. So that's going to be one of the challenges in that space. So we're going to go ahead and enhance it to level 9. By enhancing to level 9, this is actually going to be our best chance. Once we go again, it'll have a 4th stat. Now I'm looking at this and getting crit rate plus effect accuracy and crit damage. I'm actually going to hold on to this piece for Morgan without any speed on it at all, because it is actually a pretty good piece as it is. Plus we're going to have a lot of change dust to get our 2 roll right here, and we might end with flat stat attack and then flat stat HP or something that's not as good as this piece. So we're going to take this right to level 12, and we're going to go ahead and put that on her. So now we're moving into the main stats where we're trying to get lucky. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to put these guys on here. We're going to make 3 of these necklaces and hope that one of them is effect accuracy. And also 4 stars. Those 2 things would be really helpful. So we're going to go ahead and make these, and we're hoping for a very specific, there's a 4 stars. We got one 4-star piece, and attack percent's not horrible. We got effect accuracy as a substat. Here we got defense and crit rate. Here we got HP. So because our resources are limited, we're going to go ahead and use this on Morgan, even though it is not the best piece for us to put on her. We are also looking to complete a accuracy set, so I'm going to go ahead and make 3 pieces of the accuracy in this space too, hoping to get lucky. And then we're also going to make 3 pieces of each on the vigor side of things. So here on the accuracy, we got attack percent again. We got attack percent again. We got a lot of attack percent, which is, I mean, it's better than flat stat, so we will take it. Here we're looking for recovery and attack speed almost exclusively. And we're going to do, we should have enough to do 3 of each for 3 accuracy and 3 vigor. And hopefully we get an attack speed that we can put on Morgan. So there's HP, there's attack, and attack. So none of those are very good. We're going to go to the vigor set and also do there and go for attack speed. We do have, I believe, an attack speed on the vigor. It is only 3 HP percent. So this would be a good one for Nika to bring her life up a little bit if we don't get a recovery. Another attack percentage. We're getting really lucky on the attack percentage. Unlucky on the things we're actually looking for, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and see with those guys there what we can do as far as completing her build. Alright, so where our build is with Morgan here, we got her an entirely 4-star set. We did make her a belt. We made 6 belts. 5 of them were effect resistance. So that's pretty unfortunate. The other one was HP, so we really want effect accuracy here, but we did get 2 rolls of speed. So we're going to go ahead and use that on her. And then on the helmet here, we have 1 roll of speed. On the chest plate, we have a great piece, but no speed on it. And then on the boots, we have 2 rolls of speed. And then here, we got 1 roll on each stat. So I'm going to have to go back and keep working on that, but I'm out of the changing dust to get one of those to roll into attack speed. Here we got crit rate 2 and attack speed 1. So again, not great, but it's something. And here we have 2 rolls of attack speed, but we don't have an attack speed ring. If we had an attack speed ring, even 3-star, I'd put that on her. But this is what I've got on the account, so we're working with it. So ultimately, our attack speed's up to 125, so it's still very, almost embarrassingly bad. But our crit rate's coming up, crit damage is coming up, effect accuracy's coming up. Everything is getting a little bit better, and that's really what we're trying to do, is incremental gains here to move on to the target. So the weekly tasks just reset, so you can come in here, get your daily free 20 crystals there, and then on the weekly you get a free summons plus 100 crystals. So you want to make sure you get in there every day for the 20, and then every week for these guys. And then also in the missions, we have the weekly goal here, which we already hit, craft equipment times 5, 300 stamina. So we'll put that to good use, getting resources we need to start probably bringing Anguish to 6-star, as well as any enhancements that we need to gear. We did run through basically all of our gold, so that's unfortunate. So we're gonna have to spend some time in Gorgos, but with the Anguish on the team, maybe we can press that on a little bit. So I wanted to bring you in and show off Caliber and Arthur a little bit here. So up until this point, Kay has been my primary damage dealer. Tristan is a better single target damage dealer, but Kay's on Chivalry level 5, as well as she has my better gear on her. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of highlight the difference between them. Now, one thing to keep in mind is Kay is neutral affinity with the boss, and Arthur is positive affinity. We're going to go ahead and hit his A2. Now that Morgan's landing this with her A2, that's going to be a big win as far as the extra damage that Caliber and Arthur can do. And for his Stygian aura, he needs a debuff up to actually get those extra 5 hits. But as we hit the boss with Arthur here, you can see we're going to do 15,000 damage with Arthur on level 50. And with Kay on single target damage, we're going to be looking at doing 3,400. Now, to be fair to Kay, that again is neutral affinity, but that is the damage potential that Arthur brings to the table that we haven't had before, and it's going to be an absolute game changer when we're looking at getting into some of these deeper levels and deeper dungeons. So I brought Caliber and Arthur into Forbidden Dungeon. We were stuck on stage 25, blew right through it, no problem. Just replaced Kay with Caliber and Arthur. The single target damage is really what helped us get through it. The one thing you do need to kind of pay attention to is for him to use his main ability. You want to make sure that you're attacking the person with debuffs. So Morgan's going to go throw some debuffs on. He's going to get those extra 5 hits, pretty much wash them out. I don't know if she just stripped that taunt right off of her. I don't know that taunt will actually proc his Stygian aura, and then it does have a cooldown, so it won't go every time. When he's fully booked, it'll go every other time, but I'm not sure. It might be every 3rd time at his current state. So, but when you have somebody with a debuff up, if you click on that person, he'll have the chance of bringing in those extra 5 hits. So outside of that, he's a full auto. Just go for it. But he has made quite a big impact on this team, as it wasn't even a challenge. We went right through it. Now we're auto climbing. We'll see how far we get. All right, so we auto climbed straight to level 39 and ran out of tickets. So we probably can press on from here. So that was a pretty big win. And that's basically all because of Caliber and Arthur. So we don't have a lot of gold, but we're going to go on Anguish here, try to get him outfitted in a vigor set, hopefully also an accuracy set so we can land those dots, then take them into Gorgos so we can farm some gold with our stamina. All right, so with the gear we have on the account right now, we actually got him in a vigor set with the accuracy, got his effect accuracy up to 43%, so he should land those dots. And we also got him the vigor charge. So yeah, he's not very fast. He's not going to do a whole lot of attack or whatnot. But our goal is to get those dots on so he can go through a little quicker. I do have enough, so I think I'm actually going to raise this one up to level 12. And that's just going to get us a little more HP to make him a little more durable. And that brings us down to 15,000. So we're going to go ahead and change this, get those dialed on. And those are all pieces I actually took off of other characters. So there really wasn't a lot of investment there. But we're going to go over into Gorgos and see if that's enough for us to move on to, I believe, stage 7. Because we've been at stage 6. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to take out Morgan. And we're going to bring in Anguish there. And hopefully, being positive affinity, he stays alive. and then potentially gets those dots stacking up a little quicker. Although last time I remember, both of these guys got one shot right out of the gate. So we're going to give it a shot, see how it goes. If not, we'll go back to stage 6, and Anguish will definitely allow us to farm stage 6 quicker because we will be landing more dots. But we didn't get any from Rosier there. In fact, let's get in here. Skill order, we need Anguish to run his A3, and that's going to be the move right there. Still be looking for Rosier's Flame Relic. In fact, I need to jump over into the Shard Shop and see. We're getting those chills stacked up right there. He has the opportunity to, I think, land 3, so he landed all of them, which is pretty good. You got Rosier with those bleeds, as well as some more chills coming on. So when he gets a turn, we chunk down his life pretty good, barely staying alive there. Don't know if it's going to be enough or not. Our heals from Nika are a little bit weak right now, but we are stacking up a lot more dots, and we're moving through Gorgos a lot faster. But I think it's going to be RNG, because if he would have hit Jarrett or Rosier right there, I think we would have been gone. So that's a little bit tough. And we're just hoping to see about getting these guys up. When you get them leveled up to the point where you can put a corrosion set of keepsakes on, they're going to add additional dots. They're just going to move through this a lot faster. When you get Rosier up to, I think it's Chivalry 8, she starts extending dots. So once they're placed, she keeps them on. So it just kind of expedites the entire run, moves things really quickly. But we might be able to limp through this, although now we don't have anybody stripping off our dots because Jarrett went down. So Nika's heals aren't coming in super heavy. So we're going to need to survive a couple more turns to get through this. There goes Rosier. So it's going to be pretty tough at this point. We didn't make it. It's pretty close. I think just a little survivability on Jarrett would have made all the difference there. And then also if we could get Nika's heals to be a little stronger, we'd get in there as well. But we're going to take a quick peek over at the Shard Shop just in case Rosier's Flame Relic's in there or Jarrett's Frost Relic. Both of those things would help our Gorgos team quite a bit. So no go on either of those guys there. So we're going to keep looking every day at resets. So we'll just keep trying to get those on the account. But for the meantime, we're going to go ahead and farm stage 6 and get that knocked out, get some gold back on the account because we're on empty. So we'll get that going, and then I'll see what we're going to do after that. All right, day 4 in the bags. We are accumulating stamina. We got a little bit of time left. Let's see what we got going on here. We're up to tier 16. Pretty solid there. We are already, our account's on level 36. We're about ready to level up again. So we're super close. So we're going to have a little extra stamina going into day 5. On the day, we got our Anguish dialed into 6-star. We got a Caliber and Arthur on the account and dialed into 6-star. So day 3 was a little lackluster, but we were stacking up some resources so that we had them available for day 4. From here, I'd really like to get a Lancelot on the team and potentially a Vivian. If we had those two, we basically have our team dialed in for Gorgos. Then it's just a matter of getting them a little more survivable. Tomorrow we will spend some time rebuilding Jarrett and get him in some better gear now that we have it, make him more survivable and tanky. Ultimately, all he needs to do is survive. That's all he's really there to do. So it's not really a big deal. And then we can probably spend some time on Rosier, try to make her a little more tanky as well. And then I think we'll be able to press on to Gorgos stage 7. Also keep our eye out for that Flame Relic. When it becomes available, we want to pick that up. If I do have some time in day 5, I'd like to jump into adventure mode. Unfortunately, I got a big shipment I got to go get ready right now, so I can't do that right now. So day 4 is in the bags, looking pretty solid, and then we'll jump into adventure mode hopefully tomorrow, if not day 6, and we'll press on the account as far as we can. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me all the way to the end. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. It means the world to me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.